grandmother just started. I forget where it is. There was so much talent in that.
Yeah.
In that building. The chef at the Chinese restaurant was just like world class. Like, that restaurant's insane. I think it's still insane.
Yeah.
I think it's one of those under the radar ones. It's so good. But I think I had the wrong. I wanted to work in Avenues, and I was like, do I go Trotters or something? I always thought of because I already been buying the books. And the chef pushed me to be a sous chef, and the Garmager chef left, and he's like, I want you to be a Garmager chef. He's like, you're not really gonna want. I mean, I was humbled and honored. I was like, holy shit, you want to promote me already? But I was like, Garmager, is that like I'm working Avenues?
Yeah.
Like Grandma Elliot's Foods. It was so exciting. It was so pretty. It was so delicious. It was like, but I always Bear instilled in me, you're not an artist, you're a craftsman. This is your trade. Build skills and you can do anything. He's like, if you build skills in all your jobs and you diversify your skill set, you're cataloging this group of skills and then you can go wherever you want. So,
yeah.
You know, I'd read, I was so into reading when I worked for Bear. I was like reading the Scoffier book, which is the snoozer kind, but like I was reading shit like that. I read
some of those recipes in there. You're like, excuse me.
I went through the Professional Chef at CA book. I was like, I'm not going to go to school, but I got the book and I went through it. And I was making terrines in that kitchen. I was doing all this old school. I was like, just making all this classical shit.
Yeah.
So I was like, yeah, fuck it. So let's do it. So I went, and you also oversaw the butcher, so it was a cold kitchen. It was freezing. I drank so much it actually served me well because I was like always sweating it out. So I just go into this cold kitchen in the morning after
all red
partying all
shit.
night, just like you know. I don't think it's healthy, but it's all good. But then some days you're just like, you know. But that was like I had a team of 6 in there. I think I oversaw the butcher too. And that production, and I just fucking worked. I mean, I was so like 6-7 days, 80-90 hour work weeks. It was like working more than you needed to, but you also had to work that much.
Yeah,
because that Garmager for there did commissary production for the French cafe downstairs, for the Chinese restaurant, for the banquet operation. It did all the cold production for all of the banquets and parties. I don't know that probably the only thing it didn't do anything for was Avenues.
Okay.
But if there's something we made they wanted, they'd fucking
they just take it.
They'd happily have us make it.
Okay.
I just don't think we did a lot for them.
Gotcha, okay.
It was cool. I think I did that for 8 months, 9 months.
Okay.
At some point, the banquet chef was out. At that point, I was like really into that huge production. I wanted to be the banquet, and I ran the banquet kitchen for a few months. And then it was like I'm turning 23, and the chef de cuisine of the lobby kitchen left, and he's like, "We're going to make you the chef de cuisine of the lobby." I'm like,
excuse me?
I'm kind of scared.
Yeah, right.
Well, I'm just like, it's like that's a team of like 27 guys or something.
Yeah.
I mean, that's the hub of the whole.
Literally all of them older than you, probably.
Kitchen operation. Everything's connected there, right?
Yeah.
And I was like, I grew up punk rock, skateboard. I'm just not scared.
Yeah.
Anyway,
who gives a fuck? Yeah.
Looking back at some point, like everything shapes you, and you end up where you are, and there's no regrets. But I was like, at some point, like I was that Trotter season, I'm like, I should have just walked out and gone and knocked on the door and cooked there for a year.
Mm-hmm.
I always wanted to just go bake before I was like too into do baking and pastry as a cook before I was like, but there you are, you're in management. It's too late.
Yeah.
Anyway, that was really humbling. Like, I was good at the organization and the management actually for a young kid.
Yeah.
But I think I had the street cred there. People respected me. It wasn't even like it wasn't hard on that level.
They're like, this guy will legitimately punch me in the face if I
had 2 sous chefs. That was really hard.
Yeah. Okay.
Because managing sous chefs is so different than I was managing 6 cooks in the garbage kitchen.
100%.
Then you're managing sous. That's hard, and one of them was a fuck up, and you couldn't fire people in that.
Oh.
So it took like my whole year as chef de cuisine there for him to get fired for drinking on the job, and we could never fire him for just not doing his job.
Yeah.
It's like what?
Was it a union?
No, but they didn't want to be union. But it's also they made sure they didn't get unionized, but it was more...
That's probably why they didn't let you fire people, because as soon as you start firing people, they go to the union, and they're like, oh, exactly. Union.
And it was just... That was hard. It was, but I think I learned all the ordering, and I had to cost out I had to do a picture, a description for the front of the house, plating for the kitchen, allergies for every dish, and cost it out.
That's a lot of fucking work.
Shit, in that, it was what I struggled with was like the creative side. Like nothing was bad. It was all good quality food. But I was like, it was really Graham Elliott. Like he'd help me. Ideas would just flow. Like we'd go in and eat lunch together. And like at that point, he was like, he'd grab the big market noodle soup bowl and he'd fill it with mac and cheese. And cut like 6 hot dogs in it.
Yeah.
I mean, you see him now. He's like running, and he's like, he was an animal there. But we go, and he'd just be like, you could make mac and cheese, and you could put dried tomato on it, and you could put like crispy garlic over the top, and you could put a little piece of short rib in it. That sounds fucking rad. But I couldn't. At that point as a cook, you can't come up with that shit.
I was the same. You beat yourself up for it.
Yeah.
You're like I'm not good enough. I'm not a creator.
I did like a duck breast with caramelized carrots and red wine jus, and
there's
nothing wrong with that.
Yeah,
it's not exciting. You know what I mean? So it's like, but I did 2 seasons of menus, and I did a room service menu there. With the room service was pretty creative stuff there. And From there, I left and I took a job, and to this day, I don't know why I took it. I can't even remember. I think I was frustrated by something, and it was time to go.
Yeah.
That's 3 years. You've done your time.
Did you consult Graham at all before you left?
No, and I kind of wish I had, because it's like you probably could have slid me in, like, even as a sous, or even convinced me to take a step back to get into Trotters.
Got you.
I don't know, but I took this job, and I think a headhunter hit me up. I took a job with the Ritz-Carlton.
Yeah. In
Naples, Florida, which 24-year-old good at Naples. But there was a 5-star fine dining restaurant in that.
I mean,
resort, and there's a handful of. It's funny looking back, like all these chefs went through that kitchen.
Yeah,
I think it was like Greenbrier crew went through but I don't remember the connection. But I've met so many chefs that have gone through that kitchen. It's a small world, right?
Yeah.
I was a Tourneau chef, or saucier chef, I think. It's like a commissary, but you covered everybody's days off.
Yeah.
There's like 11 restaurants and kitchens there. It was nuts. And it was cool to go work the beach restaurant or the pool guy's day off, and you do like 1,300 covers in fucking 4 hours, and it's like grouper sandwiches. And but then you go and you're doing fine dining the next day. But I hated that area of Florida, and it was seasonal. And once it got slow, it was so boring.
I bet.
And you had all these international kids on student visas, so then they all left. So then it gets deader than a doornail, but you got to be there for 14 hours a day.
Yeah.
I was just like, fuck this.
Finding things to do, and you're like,
I was like, I want to get back to restaurants.
I gotta say though, the fact that a headhunter found you, there was no LinkedIn then,
No, they called the banquet kitchen.
Yeah. Okay. They were just
I don't think that's how that one actually got me, but they would call the banquet kitchen. The Peninsula, there was so much talent in that building.
That they were always just trying to poach.
Like when I left, I think Graham Elliott left right before I went. I think Curtis Duffy came.
Curtis Duffy came in?
I think it was right when I left. I don't remember.
Okay. That was
I think there was a chef, and then Lee Woolen came in to be the chef of the lobby.
Got you.
Where I was the chef.
After you?
Yeah.
Then
Michelin came to Chicago 2 years later or something, and he got a Michelin star at the lobby, and I was like, I worked at that restaurant. That's cool. And they'd taken. There was a focus on that restaurant. The lobby was the catch-all, and it was
yeah.
The problem with those operations is the cheapest room's $1,100, I think, in the Peninsula, the average room rate, and all the celebrities stay there.
So even
all you're doing all day long is cooking stuff off menu for dietary. It's like literally like somebody calling me cook lamb without salt for his dog, or Jennifer Aniston would be like, I want a chicken breast poached in salt in water with lentils with no seasoning, and you go make it. It's like, so you're spending all your time doing that, and you can't concentrate on the food.
Yeah.
So I think they.
That's how she keeps her figure.
They found that balance after that when they were like, we want to make the lobby.
Yeah.
But all that challenge makes you better cook and manager. And
I got headhunted for a similar situation in LA, a really like famous hotel that a lot of celebrities stay at, and that was one of the things that they told me. They were like, hey, like, we're just having some issues with the chef now, like a little bit of ego there, like you're gonna have to do some shit that's weird for people, like these are just the high end people that we have here. And I was interested in it, and then they got some kind of harassment suit or something happened, and then after that I didn't hear anything, and I'm like, you know what, it's probably better. It's probably better, bro. I ain't trying to revive no one's like ethics, like but so you're in Naples right now.
So I was like, I gotta get out.
Yeah, you gotta get the fuck out of there.
Get out of here. I don't remember how I found it, but I got hooked up with a restaurant group out of Denver.
Okay.
That was opening 2 restaurants in a hotel that they were opening in Portland, Oregon. I was like, fuck, I'm going back home. Portland's cool. This was like 2007 or 8.
Uh-huh.
It was like right when that. So I took the job. I took a job as like the exec sous for the hotel, which I was to open the banquet kitchen, and they had a chef to open this steakhouse, Urban Farmer, who was coming from New York, and he worked at Ducasse, he worked at Briseis. Ned Elliott, you know Ned Elliott?
Mm-mm.
Amazing cook, like just so creative. And talking to him, I was like, so the idea was that I could like support that restaurant, open this. They really wanted my experience because they were a restaurant group but didn't know how to do it. It was their first luxury hotel property.
Gotcha.
They didn't know how to do room service. They didn't know how to do events. So they wanted me for that.
Okay.
And I was like, and I get to work for this guy.
Yeah.
And then they're going to open this Japanese restaurant on the roof, and Ned's buddy Gregory Gourdet was going to be the chef of that.
Oh shit!
So I was like, I get to support these 2 motherfuckers.
Okay.
And go back home in Portland. And Portland was starting to get. So when I moved there, that's when everybody started to go to Portland.
Yeah.
It was starting to blow up. And that was wild. That was fun.
Were you happy to be back in the Northwest?
Yeah.
Yeah.
It was so good. It was like both those restaurants were so good. The food focus was so. I mean, it was, Urban Farmer was a steakhouse. They were calling it a modern steakhouse, but it was so farm driven and market driven. It was like that was when people were first pulling that farm to table.
Yeah. Okay.
Which, I don't like that catch line very much, but like.
Yeah, I got shut down on that pretty hard. I went to the restaurant no matter what. I showed up and I'm like, I'm from Rhode Island. I came from a farm to table restaurant. Chef's like, all restaurants are farm to table. That's where all the food comes from.
There was like, another chef who
I was
said
like, yes, chef, I am stupid.
Yeah. There was some chef. I remember when I got to take that job and they had that tagline, and I remember hearing some chef be like, all food comes from a farm and ends up in a restaurant.
Yeah.
I can't remember who it was, but
that's how bad America fucked up the food chain that we got to state that it comes from a farm now.
I think that job was really cool on a lot of levels. Ned didn't stay very long. They tried to make me the chef of Urban Farmer and the whole thing. And I think I had it stuck in the Peninsula. I was like, why did I take the promotion too fast? And I was like, no.
Because you had that title.
So I was like, no, I was exec sous. I was like, no, I'm not ready. But I ran it for 6 months. They had 2 sous chefs there who were both just good cooks.
Yeah.
They were fucking not chefs. I mean, they couldn't manage themselves out of their pyramid. Like, food costs was like,
yeah.
Like, we're in a big, busy restaurant. It was like, we have to buy the best of, like, food costs in that restaurant was like so high. And then, like, the catering carried everything. It was just like it was.
Yeah.
I wasn't good enough to manage those guys either.